Welcome, everyone. Today, I will tell you a story that will improve your English listening and your life at the same time. This story is emotional, powerful, and very easy to understand. It is about something we all do, comparing ourselves with others, and how that one habit can slowly destroy your confidence, your happiness, and your dreams. But don't worry. By the end of this story, you will learn something that will change how you see yourself forever. So stay till the end. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe now, because 2026 is your year to grow. Let's begin. Part 1. The Brother Who Had Everything. My name is Noah. I'm 22 years old. And this is the story of how I almost lost myself by trying to become someone else. I live in a small town with my parents. I am not rich, I am not famous, and I am not special. At least that's what I believed. But my older brother Ethan, he's different. He's a software engineer at Google. He lives in a big city, San Francisco. He drives a nice car. He earns a big salary. He's confident, smart, and always knows what to say. At every family gathering, people ask, "How's Ethan doing?" "Wow, Google? That's amazing. You must be so proud of him." But no one asks about me. No one says my name. Even my relatives would say things like, "Noah, why don't you follow in your brother's footsteps?" I used to smile on the outside, but on the inside, I felt small, invisible, like a shadow in my own house. I started comparing everything. Ethan had a job. I was still studying. Ethan had skills. I had confusion. Ethan had success. I had silence. And every time I opened social media, I saw more people like him. People with great jobs. People building things. People doing something with their life. And me? I was just someone who liked writing stories in a notebook. I didn't even know if it was useful. Slowly, I started hating who I was. I looked in the mirror and asked myself, why am I not like him? What's wrong with me? Will anyone ever respect me? I didn't want to be Noah anymore. I wanted to become Ethan. So I made a decision. I downloaded coding apps. I watched YouTube videos on Java, Python, and software engineering. I tried to act more confident. I even changed how I spoke, trying to sound like Ethan. I stopped writing stories. I stopped being myself, because I thought, maybe if I become more like Ethan, people will love me too. But the truth is, the more I tried to become him, the more I felt empty inside. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel real. And after 3 months of trying to copy him, I still wasn't him. And I was no longer me either. Part 2. The breaking point and the moment that changed everything. I still remember that night. I was sitting alone in my room. My laptop was open. I had another coding video playing, but my mind wasn't there. I closed my eyes, and I said something I never thought I would say. I don't know who I am anymore. I didn't feel like Ethan. I didn't feel like myself. I felt lost. Then I looked around my room. Everything was quiet, but inside my mind, there was a storm. And finally, I said it out loud. I hate being me. It was in a box under my bed, dusty and forgotten. It was the place where I used to write my thoughts, my ideas, my feelings. Before I started copying Ethan. Before I started hiding myself. I opened the first page, and I saw something I had written 2 years ago. One day, I want to write stories that help people feel understood. I just stared at those words. I had forgotten that dream. But in that moment, it hit me. Maybe I was never supposed to be like Ethan. Maybe I was supposed to be someone else. The next day at college, I saw a small poster on the wall. It said, Writing Competition. Topic, My Greatest Struggle. At first, I walked past it, but something inside me said, Try, just one last time, not as someone else, but as you. That night, I sat with my journal, and I started writing. I wrote about everything, the comparison, the pain, the pressure, the loneliness, the feeling of being invisible. I didn't try to impress anyone. I didn't use big words. I just told the truth. From my heart. It was raw, it was real, and it was mine. 2 weeks later, they announced the winner. I didn't even go to the stage. I thought, there's no way I could win. Then suddenly, I heard my name. First prize, Noah, for The Shadow in the Mirror. I couldn't move. I thought it was a mistake, but it wasn't. People clapped. My classmates smiled. Some even cried while reading it. One girl came to me and said, Thank you. Your story feels like my life. I thought I was alone, but now I don't feel that way anymore. That moment, that one sentence, it changed my life. I realized I was never useless. I was just trying to be useful in the wrong way. I was never weak. I was just trying to be strong in someone else's style. I was never boring. I was just silent because I thought no one would care about my truth. But now I knew. My words had power, my voice had value, and my story had meaning. I didn't need to become Ethan because the world already had Ethan. What it didn't have was me. Part 3. Becoming who I was meant to be. After that writing competition, something changed inside me, not outside. I didn't suddenly become famous, but inside, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Pride. Not the loud kind, not the arrogant kind, but quiet pride. The kind that says, maybe I am worth something. I didn't go back to coding tutorials. I didn't open another video titled Learn Java in 30 days. Instead, I opened my journal. I picked up my pen, and I began writing every day, not for grades, not for followers, just to express what was real. I wrote about fear. I wrote about love. I wrote about comparison, depression, anxiety, identity. And something surprising happened. People started reading. My classmates shared my stories. Teachers asked me to speak in class. My college asked me to give a talk on finding your voice. And slowly, without pretending, without copying, without comparing, I became seen. 1 year later, I created a blog. I called it The Real Side of Life. I didn't know if anyone would care, but in the first month, 20 people read it, then 50, then 500, then 5,000. Now, over 1 million people read my stories every month, from more than 30 countries. I get messages like, "Your words helped me survive. Thank you for saying what I couldn't say. You saved me." And do you know what's crazy? People now invite me to speak, to tell my story, to teach others how to find their truth. One day I received a message from Ethan, my brother, the one I used to compare myself with. He said, "Noah, I read your blog. I cried. You've done something I could never do. You've made people feel understood." And then he said something I will never forget. "You tried to become me. But today, I wish I could be more like you." That was the moment I knew. I didn't need to win the world's approval. I only needed to stop losing myself. If you're watching this right now, if you feel like you're not good enough, if you keep comparing yourself to others, please listen carefully. You don't need to become someone else to matter. The world already has them. What it needs is you, your face, your voice, your story, your gift. Don't throw it away by chasing someone else's dream. Because the moment you stop comparing, you don't become less. You become free. Stop looking left. Stop looking right. Look within. You are not a mistake. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are simply becoming. And your time is coming. So stay on your path. Keep walking, keep building, keep trusting. Because one day, the world will say, "Thank God you didn't become like anyone else, because you were the one we were waiting for." If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs it. Comment below, "I choose to be myself." And most important, subscribe now. Because this channel is your home for English, growth, and life-changing motivation. We don't just tell stories, we build people, and we believe in you. Even if the world doesn't yet. See you in the next story.